AITA for confiscating my daughter's phone over a TikTok prank. Long story short, my daughter 15F and a friend decided to play a very cruel prank on the friend's 8-year-old sister. Basically, my daughter hid in her closet filming for TikTok while the friend called the sister in and pretended to cry and told her that she had gotten news that their parents had just been killed in a car accident, getting the reaction and then telling her it's not true. Needless to say, the friend's sister did not take it well even after being told of the truth, and the parents contacted me. I was absolutely disgusted, especially considering the intention was to humiliate her on TikTok. So in addition to grounding her, I took her phone away and replaced it with an old one of mine that I locked down so it cannot do anything besides receive phone calls, take pictures and send texts, basically equivalent to an old-style flip phone. That happened about a month ago. My daughter's grounding recently expired and she asked me when she gets her phone back. I told her when you can afford to buy your own, since her phone was what she used for it. I do not see any reason why she should be allowed to able to access such apps. She complained to my husband. He told me that he agrees she should not get the phone back now, but that I am maybe being a bit too harsh, since confiscating it until the end of the school year, for example, would still send the needed message. So I told my daughter I will consider it based on her behavior, but she is still banned from TikTok regardless. Well, she threw another tantrum. Truth is, I am just so disgusted she would do such a thing. And such abuse of an app means you do not get the app anymore, and it seems fair. Now she is giving me the silent treatment. Obviously this would not help in getting the phone back. So am I being too harsh or unreasonable? I get how important such phones and apps are now to teen social lives, but I really cannot let something like that go unaddressed. NTA, the prank was terrible to begin with, but pulling that on an 8-year-old is horrific. You should get your daughter into therapy to help understand why she thought that would be funny. Right. My sister is 9 years older than me and I am a grown-ass adult in my late 20s with a kid of my own, and I would not dream of pulling this prank on her. My sisters, they are 6 and 2 years older than me, had me convinced from the time I was 6 till I was 9 that I was adopted. Not only did they have me convinced, but all the kids in the neighborhood were convinced and adults at our dance school were convinced. It only came out because an adult at our dance school who met my mom right after I was born said she thought I was my mom's bio kid and didn't he know I was adopted. And my mom was like, because she is not adopted. I literally didn't hug my parents for 2 years during that time, and my family wonders why I don't trust them now. Oh God, that is horrible. Did they get punished? Did you get therapy? Holy crap. Like, my grandma used to make us, me and cousins, when we spent holidays with her without our parents, believe that if we have nightmares and run to her at night she will have to call the doctor and he would have us admitted to psychiatry ward until we grow up. This led to many long terrified nights, and more nightmares. Or that if we do something, eat more sweets, not brush teeth, really silly things, our mother or father would drop dead. She had accompanied this with a story of her friend who did that and his mommy died. The funeral was so sad. We were 4-7 without phones, so there was no SHT. I ate an extra candy. I will call mom to see if she is okay. We had wait all day for parents to call the landlines. Absolutely terrified. Great nightmare stuff. NTA, 15, is old enough to know better. That poor little girl. It is horrible at any age, but I could almost understand if it was an 11 or 12-year-old. At 15, it is disturbing that a kid that age would find that funny. NTA, she literally posted an 8-year-old on TikTok for the whole world to see. She cannot control whether she wants to be on camera or not, and telling someone that their parents died is just cruel. As long as she can text her friends and stuff, that is enough. She does not deserve to have TikTok. NTA, she traumatized an 8-year-old. That child may need therapy. You are a good parent by helping her understand the severity of what she did. Understanding the severity is not the same as teaching her how to do better. It does not sound like the punishment is actually helping her learn what she did wrong, how to not do it again. Lessons like this take time. She is throwing her tantrums now, but if her mom gives in to her, she would not have learned anything. OP needs to stick to her guns, otherwise she is just churning out another entitled brat into the world. Very true, but OP does need to keep reminding her daughter why this punishment is happening. Every time the daughter throws a tantrum, "You have shown me you are not mature enough for a smartphone. I need to be able to trust you to not use it to bully small children first. You abused the privilege, and so you lost it." Otherwise the daughter just gets to victimize herself and make OP the bad guy. Info: does your daughter feel genuine remorse, or is she just remorseful of getting in trouble? Does your daughter understand that it is incredibly inappropriate in any situation to post videos featuring children on the internet without their parents' approval? Does your daughter understand that posting videos online of anyone without their consent is wrong? She did apologize and admits it was very stupid, but I think more in a sense of it was really stupid to do that knowing what would happen to me, and not that is a very terrible thing to do. She also claims that it was her friend's idea and she was initially reluctant, but frankly, even if true, that is not an excuse. So remorseful about getting in trouble, not so much about causing pain. Not a chance I'd be handing over that phone. NTA, the lesson has not been learned. I would maybe sit down when she was calmer and go over everything, maybe set concrete metrics for what she can to earn her phone back. Things like write a heartfelt apology letter to the 8-year and her mother, maybe a nice essay about why you don't post videos of children online. But I would not allow TikTok, Snap, or WhatsApp for a long time. NTA, but how you approach discipline probably needs to be rethought. Punishment without rehabilitation just causes resentment, which we are seeing now and has been proven to result in recidivism in the criminal justice system. I also do not think therapy is necessarily something I did pursue yet. For one, as noted, using it as a punishment can just make kids resent it. And it is also possible there is nothing wrong with her, but that she just has a 15-year-old not fully developed mind and thus does stupid things like all 15-year-olds with their not fully developed minds are prone to do. Now yeah, even at 15 I would have known how horrible this was and would not do it, but some people also mature faster, and I think people are looking at this and assuming she is an adult in her behavior. She is not. So here is what I would do. Mind you, I do not have any kids. Break the silent treatment by telling her if she wants to get her phone back you are open to talk to her. Before that, prepare some things to show why what she did was so awful. Probably reach out to the parents of her friend and ask how their 8-year-old daughter is doing and how it affected her, and ask if you can use that as an example to her. Also things like reading material on what it is like losing a parent at a young age, or maybe find some stories or videos about bullying and what it can do, people who have committed suicide over it, etc. And probably some stories about such internet pranks gone wrong and why they are such a big deal. There was recently a case where 2 guys decided to pretend to rob a guy in a parking lot by threatening him with butcher knives to put the video on YouTube. Well, one of them is dead now and the other badly injured and facing serious criminal charges because the guy they jumped was carrying a gun and legally was in the right for self-defense. Then ask her if she thinks what she did was acceptable and how she had feel if that was done to her. And if she just blames her friend, explain how if she had stood up to her this would not have happened and how the consequences would be much better for everyone involved. Once you think she has learned enough, you can discuss returning the phone, albeit without TikTok. By doing so you can also turn her away from bullying in general. If she does not seem to get it though, or if you do and bad behavior continues, well then yeah, tougher consequences and therapy might need to be on the table. Edit: I think it might be also good to point out to her just how much worse it could have been had this not been caught, and if their goal succeeded and the video did go viral. People have had their lives ruined because of stupid viral videos that they themselves posted hoping for likes, and even teenagers have lost scholarships and college admissions over them. There is a good chance she and her friend would be doxxed, receive death threats, probably end up getting bullied themselves at school, and then in 3 years when she is applying to college her name would be all over the internet in any search of it as that girl and her friend who thought doing this to an 8-year-old was funny. Any potential romantic partners would likely see it. She could be facing consequences well into adulthood. Frankly, she is getting off easy in comparison to what might have happened, but I think that needs to be absolutely drilled into her. This, a punishment with no clear restitution education, is just a power trip. Info: has she expressed any genuine remorse over it? I did say that is the key thing. If she is just upset over the inconvenience of the punishment, then she has not learned anything. If she is genuinely remorseful, then it might be time to move past it. Info: have you explained to her why you're so against her having her phone back and the big picture of why it would be so humiliating for the 8-year-old? It's one thing to say you cannot have your phone back until you can afford your own, versus, you cannot have your phone back because you have not shown remorse for your action. I need to see that you have learned from this and can be a better person. Can you explain to me why this video is cruel to your friend's sister? The first just goes into typical parent-child I want me toy back etc. The second tries to get the person to work out what they have done wrong. I am with you above. I want to know that OP has tried to do more than just a punishment. NTA, I just can't stand these pranksters on YouTube, Twitch, TikTok, etc. My dad would do the exact same thing to us if we even dared to do even a tenth of what your daughter and her friend just did. TikTok was a mistake. I cannot justify its existence. There is some cool accounts. I follow a bunch of farmers and people who talk about science. But if you are a kid who looks up dumb stuff and bad pranks on TikTok, then the algorithm will learn that and keep sending you that stuff. Really reinforces the wrong thing to kids. Truth is that all websites do this. NTA at all. What an awful prank to play on a kid. I think you were more than generous by giving her a flip phone. She is still able to text with friends and can call you in case of emergency. NTA, does she show remorse though? Have you had a chat with her about this whole TikTok rubbish? This whole prank culture has got so out of hand that teenagers are trying to get one-upmanship on the other YouTubers who are doing them, 99% of which are fake. It is easy for them to get drawn into it easily, but they need a good talking from a parent or an adult they trust about the reality of it all. NTA, good parenting, in my opinion. NTA, if you haven't already, I suggest having her research how what she did was harmful or something of that sort just to hammer it home, just to make sure when she is exposed to it again, it won't be easy for her to go back to that behavior. She is bound to get access somehow. NTA, but maybe give the phone back for summer, but definitely no TikTok. Just a suggestion because I know as a teenager that they will hate you if you never give them their phone back. What they did was not okay and they need to learn a lesson. Perhaps reframe why you aren't giving her her phone back. Punishments should always be logical consequences for an offense. You took away her phone because she played a cruel prank on an 8-year-old for a TikTok video. However, you told her she can't get it back until she can pay for it herself. Her actions had nothing to do with money, so it doesn't make sense logically to tell her she cannot have her phone back until she can pay for it. If she had been irresponsible and lost her phone, if she exceeded her monthly data limit and cost you money, or spent money on games, online shopping, etc., making her pay to get her phone back would be logical. However, her actions had nothing to do with money. I feel like she learned her lesson better if you explain to her that she cannot have her phone back because she has proven through her cruel actions that she is not mature enough to be trusted with a smartphone. You cannot trust her to have a smartphone because she may do something like this again. Given that she has not expressed remorse, she needs to understand that her actions have consequences. Not just for herself but for other people. The biggest lesson for her to learn is empathy. Perhaps give her some articles to read about how children feel when they lose a parent, articles or videos about cyberbullying, the importance of consent when it comes to posting videos of people online, etc. Read articles, watch videos about these things together and have an open conversation, with the goal of her realizing how much she hurt the girl through her prank. Maybe a school guidance counselor can help you with this. There are a lot of great anti-bullying resources out there. When she understands the gravity of her actions, she can have her smartphone back, but without TikTok or other apps that could be harmful. There are ways to restrict access to certain apps, only allow child-friendly YouTube videos, etc. Therapy could help her learn to empathize with others. But it is not appropriate to use therapy as another form of punishment, especially by making her pay for it herself. Therapy can require many sessions, and if she feels like therapy is a punishment, she will be less likely to open up to the therapist and want to get anything out of the one session. Using therapy as a punishment could also make her resentful and distrusting towards therapy. She may not be willing to reach out for help with her mental health later in life. Not saying that she will have to, But just in case she does, because she sees therapy as something negative, my parents used to threaten to send me to a mental hospital when I misbehaved as a teen for things as simple as arguing about chores, having a bad attitude, talking back, etc., as I wasn't really a problem child, and it made me resentful towards them and towards the idea of seeking help for mental illness later in life. It wasn't until I was nearly 30 years old that I was finally willing to seek help for my anxiety and depression. By then, my mental health was bad enough that it seriously impacted my daily life, and my husband was worried enough that he made an appointment for me. Much of my reluctance to seek help had to do with the way my parents threatened me as a teen. NTA, by the way, though I do think her punishment could be more effective if you approach it differently. Absolutely this. In the heat of the moment I would have given the same punishment as UOP, but this is the correct response 100%. Viewers, I leave the judging to you. Write what you think in the comments. Remember to subscribe to the channel.